Okay, so we got this Dodge Ram 3500. It's a 2021, but the check engine light just came on. So we got the launch scan tool here hooked up. Now we're gonna take a look at the PCM. We can see we have a stored fault code, P0560-00, engine coolant level low. This will be the one that we're going after here. It's a P0461. You can see it's active, fuel level sensor 1 performance. So we'll go in, we have 4 codes here in the amp. We'll take a look at those quick. Looks like microphone circuits, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all stored fault codes. I'm not gonna worry about those. So let's, first off, I'm just gonna take a quick visual look around the truck to make sure there isn't like a wiring harness that's been ripped apart or something like that, you know, anything that's obvious. Then probably head over to ProDemand and take a look and see how the theory and operation of this circuit and system works. It's pretty simple. You got a level sensor that's inside of the tank, obviously, that measures the level of diesel, and should be pretty basic. So let's get the truck up in the air and take a look. All right, so I got a video scope up here so we can kind of see what's going on. You can see that red locking tab on that connector there. The connector itself is gray and it's a 4-pin connector according to the wiring diagram. Now that connector plugs into the sending unit that goes down into the tank and has the level sensor. So a little bit about theory of operation before I jump up here and try to disconnect this thing. Basically you got 12 volts that gets sent to the level sensor, and then there's a resistor sweep that the float will move and the arm will go across that path that changes the resistance of that 12 volts, which is then sent back as a signal that the body control module will monitor. So basically what I'm going to try to do is take this connector off. It's actually not terrible to get to. It's nice that I got video scope, we can see what's going on and I can see what I'm doing. And then once I get that connector off, I'm going to put a resistor across that circuit to act as the level sensor. And then that'll be able to determine whether our wiring and BCM, all that stuff's good, or if it's bad. So I have a suspicion that it probably needs the sending unit, but I wouldn't be surprised if it needs wiring because I've fixed wiring on so many of these trucks. And there is one connection between here and the BCM, and I think it's that big one that's up in behind the fender well, but let's see if I can get squeeze up here. So we got to push this locking tab through, and whoops. I did take the air gun and blow all of the stuff out. There was a lot of dirt and stuff that's on top of it. And it gets all jammed up in there and it prevents this red locking tab from coming out. So this is going to be a bit of a fight. You can already tell. Fuel lines are in the way of the position of where this thing sits. I need a smaller screwdriver so I can get on a better angle. Okay, so I did get it to move there. I think what I'm going to try to do is get a pair of pliers now that I got it to move. And I can wiggle it back and forth. I just can't get on the right angle using a screwdriver. There's the fuel lines that are in the way, so you can't get up there. And it's too far back, so it just keeps slipping off. So. Okay, so I was able to use this trim removal tool because it has an angle on it to sneak in there at the proper angle and push that red locking tab out. Now, what I gotta do, I'm gonna try not to forget my tools up here. See if I can get you a better angle. There, now you can see, whoops. I got to push this thing down. I'll see if I can show you. So, little tab there, you got to push that down and pull it out. Try not to pull by the wires, but I understand the mobility that you have up here is very limited. So now we can actually use our camera on the phone to video the rest of this. Trying to think of how we're going to do this. The harness comes to just about the end of the tank here. Like I say, the one wire is black, and the other wire that we want is blue with, one's blue with a white tracer, one's blue with red tracer. I believe it's the blue with a white tracer, but I'm just gonna go double check on the diagram. And then we will grab ourselves a 500 ohm resistor to stick in between that. All right, so we got this resistor kit. Just pick one of those up off Amazon. They're pretty cheap, and get an assortment of different resistor values. Get packs of 25. So I was able to look in the theory of operation. Actually, it was the trouble tree that showed one thing that you got to do is to test the sending unit / level sensor is to measure the resistance of it. And they wanted you to bench test it, so have it out and then move that level sensor across its sweep and then monitor the resistance of what it's outputting. So we're not going to do that, but it did tell us that it should be between 50 and 1000 ohms from low to high. So if we put in a 500 ohm resistor, I actually have a 470 ohm resistor, then we should be about half a tank is what it should read. So I'm going to stick this resistor in the connector to mimic this fuel level sensor, and you can see it's pin 2 and 3, and we want black and dark blue with a white tracer. So that's the 2 center pins that are on that connector. So I'm going to go back up there, stick this in, I'm going to lower the truck down and see if our fault code goes to stored. Now you may be able to see this from there, but we just want the 2 center pins, so fairly simple. Stick that in there. We'll just leave it like that, and we'll lower this down.
Sucks that the resistor is the same color.
Yeah. All right, let's get this thing down. So what we're gonna do here before we erase any codes or do any of that stuff, if you take a look inside the truck at the fuel level gauge, we're at about almost 3/4 of a tank, is that correct? So what I'm gonna do is I have the resistor in the plug right now. I'm gonna roll under and pull that resistor out and see if that level changes. Has it changed or is it still the same? Sure. It's at empty right now? Okay, so I'm going to stick this resistor back in. That should simulate our 3/4 of a tank. And you just leave that ignition on there. I'm going to clear these fault codes. Yeah, so it's going to go ahead and clear. Now it may set fault codes because of the other 2 circuits, right, for our fuel sending unit that sends it to the actual high pressure pump is now disconnected. So I would expect it to have that fault code, but we'll take a look. So now it is pending. I wonder if I just use a jumper wire. I got to think about this for a second. So unfortunately, my scan tools, neither of them are hooked up with Chrysler's security gateway module programming, which allows me to clear fault codes in these newer trucks. I think it was like 2017 or 18 that they brought out these security gateway modules that makes it difficult for people to get in there to steal a vehicle, to just be able to plug in and go in and do whatever. So unfortunately, I can't clear codes right now, but I would say, seeing as we were able to make the fuel gauge move based on resistance, that's concluding that our circuit integrity is 99% most likely good, and everything else is probably good. So chances are it probably needs that sending unit. I would really like to just be able to clear the fault code and go. The only other thing I could do is depin the connector, put the resistor in, plug it back in, and take it for a couple drives and see if that code just goes away and the light goes out. But that's a bunch of extra work. So I'm fairly confident in saying that it needs that sending unit / level sensor, and that's what I'm going with. So if you got any questions, throw them down in the comments below. I hope you are able to get some useful information out of this video. If you have this issue, best of luck to you, and we'll see you in the next one.